Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Belchan.
I'm Nimikung.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read all of your part of The Yellow Wallpaper.
As.
Ah.
The Yellow Wallpaper. Perkins Gilman. Section 2. But I must not think about that. This paper looks to me as if it knew what a vicious influence it had. Bulbous eyes stare at you upside down. I get positively angry with the impertinence of it and the everlastingness. Up and down and sideways they crawl. And those absurd, unblinking eyes are everywhere. There is one place where two breaths didn't match. And the eyes go all up and down the line. One a little higher than the other. I never saw so much expression in an inanimate thing before. And we all know how much expression they have. Of blank walls and plain furniture that most children could find in a toy store. And there was one chair that always seemed like a strong friend. Could always hop into that chair and be safe. The furniture in this room is no worse than inharmonious. However, for we had to bring it all from downstairs. Things out. And no wonder. I never saw such ravages as the children have made here. The wallpaper, as I said before, is torn off in spots, and it sticketh closer than a brother thee must have had perseverance as well as hatred. Then the floor is scratched and gouged and splintered. The plaster itself is dug out here and there, and this great a wee bit, which is all we found in the room, looks as if it had been through the wars. But I don't mind it a bit in the paper. There comes John's sister. Such a dear girl as she is. And so careful of me. I must not let her find me writing. She is a perfect, an enthusiastic housekeeper, and hopes for no better profession. I verily believe she thinks it is the writing which made me sick. But I can write when she is out, and see her a long way off from these windows. There is one that commands the road. A lovely, shaded, winding road, and one that just looks off over the country. A lovely country, too, full of great elms and velvet meadows. This wallpaper has a kind of sub-pattern in a different shade. A particularly irritating one, for you can only see it in certain lights. Not clearly then, but in the places where it isn't faded, and where the sun is just so. I can see a strange, provoking, formless sort of figure that seems to sulk about behind that sleek and conspicuous front design. Their sister on the stairs. Well, the 4th of July is over. The people are gone and I am tired out. John thought it might do me good to see a little company. So we just had Mother and Lily and the children down for a week. Of course I didn't do a thing. Jenny sees to everything now. But it tired me all the same. In the full. But I don't want to go there at all. I had a friend who was in his hands once. And she says he is just like John and my brother. Only so. Besides, it is such an undertaking to go so far. Anything. And I'm getting dreadfully fretful and curious. I cry at nothing. And cry most of the time. Of course I don't when John is here. Or anybody else. But when I am alone. And I am alone a good deal just now. John is kept in town very often by serious cases. And Jenny is good and lets me alone when I want her to. So I walk a little in the garden or down that lovely lane. Sit on the porch under the roses. And lie down up here a good deal. I'm getting really fond of the room in spite of the wallpaper. Perhaps because of the wallpaper. It was in my mind so. I lie here on this great immovable but it is nailed down. I believe in full of that pattern about by the hour. It is as good as gymnastics. I assure you. I start. We'll see. At the bottom. Down in the corner over there where it has not been touched. Some sort of a conclusion. I know a little of the principle of design. And I know this thing was not arranged in an Aloud gradation. Or alternation. Or repetition. Or symmetry. Or anything else that I ever heard of. It is repeated. Of course. By the breadths. But not otherwise. Looked at in one wage breadth stands alone. Down in isolated columns of fatuity. But on the other hand, they connect diagonally. And the sprawling outlines run off in great slanting waves of optic horror. Like a lot of willowing seaweeds in full chase. The whole thing goes horizontally. Too. At least it seems so. Direction. They have used a horizontal breadth for a frieze. And that adds wonderfully to the confusion. There is one end of the room where it is almost intact. And there, when the crosslights fade and the low sun shines directly upon it, centre and rush off in headlong plunges of equal distraction. It makes me tired to follow it. I will take a nap. I guess. I don't know why I should write this. I don't want to. I don't feel able. And I know John would think it absurd. Relief. But the effort is getting to be greater than the relief. Half the time now I am awfully lazy. And lie down ever so much. John says I mustn't lose my strength. And has me take cod liver oil and lots of tonics and things. To say nothing of ale and wine and rare meat. Dear John. He loves me very dearly. And hates to have me sick. I tried to have a real, earnest, reasonable talk with him the other day. To Cousin Henry and Julia. But he said I wasn't able to go. Nor able to stand it after I got there. And I did not make out a very good case for myself. For I was crying before I had finished. It is getting to be a great effort for me to think straight. Just this nervous weakness. I suppose. And dear John gathered me up in his arms. And just carried me upstairs and laid me on the bed. And sat by me and read to me till it tired my head. He said I was his darling and his comfort and all he had. And that I must take care of myself for his sake. And keep well. He says no one but myself can help me out of it. Away with me. There's one comfort. The baby is well and happy. And does not have to occupy this nursery with the horrid wallpaper. If we had not used it, that best child would have. What a fortunate escape. Oil. I wouldn't have a child of mine. An impressionable little thing. Live in such a room for worlds. I never thought of it before. But it is lucky that John kept me here after all. I can stand it so much easier than a baby. You see, much of it all the same. There are things in that paper that nobody knows but me. Or ever will. Behind that outside pattern, the dim shapes get clear every day. It is always the same shape. Only very numerous. And it is like a woman stooping down and creeping about behind that pattern. I don't like it a bit. I wonder you begin to think he wished John would take me away from here. It is so hard to talk with John about my case. Because he is so wise. And because he loves me so. But I tried it last night. It was moonlight. The moon shines in all around. Just as the sun does. I hate to see it sometimes. It creeps so slowly. To be continued.